clapping and cheering is okay. I didn't pay to hear clapping and cheering. I paid to hear Falcon fly. That's what I wanted to say.
It was podcast related, so it was okay.
If we're talking about Falcon fly, I got a question. Why the fuck are you flying so close to the ground when these things can jump up and get you? You idiot! You have wings.
That's what I was saying. I was like, why are you like 2 inches from the ground?
We're not dissing Falcon.
Yeah. You know what? I'm dissing Falcon and I'm dissing War Machine because here's the other thing. And Black Panther. And I don't want to say what those three guys have in common, but I'm saying when he came up with the plan to open the gate, he opened the gates, and all he had to say was, we're going to open the gates, and then War Machine could be like, cool, let's time it so I can drop these fucking napalm bombs on their heads. But they didn't do that, did they?
He's ready?
Yo, why didn't Tony give War Machine a new armor? So that's pretty shady, you know what I'm saying?
Who didn't get new armor?
Welcome to the Hardly Heroes Podcast.
High above the city, they shine in my spotlight. Commissioner on the rooftop, double H in the night sky. For the sidekicks we fight, for the right crosses we throw. For the ninjas we injure, revenge on our foes. From crime alleys to radioactive insects, genetic mutations. Weapon X ejects are infinite, Earths are in crisis. Our wars are civil but secret. Here come Buddy, Manny, and Aaron, blaring through your speakers. Yeah, Hardly Heroes. It's clobbering time.
Welcome to the Tavern Podcast, a podcast for movies, music, and sports, and everything geek-related. I'm the Black Goat.
I'm the Bird.
And I'm the Bear.
Whoa. Actually, welcome to the Hardly Heroes Podcast. I'm your host, Buddy.
I'm Manny.
And I'm Aaron.
Yeah. Listen here, you guys need to back up. Yeah, we actually are movies, TV, and everything geek-related. Don't think you guys can come in here and do whatever you want. Just because we invited you guys into our show doesn't mean you guys can take over.
Sorry, we're trying to give fucks right now. I apologize.
That wasn't rehearsed at all, guys.
No, that was off the cuff.
On the fly?
Yes.
Off the fly.
Off the fly.
Right.
One of those. Marty McFly.
How are we doing, guys?
Okay, we're here on episode 104.
104.
104, right? Yes. And we have invited our villains, here to review Avengers Infinity War.
AKA Better Host. Sorry.
Okay.
Whoa.
Sure, why not?
Just because you're holding the Dick Mark XL today does not mean that, you control all.
I gotta say, this is the first time I've actually seen the Dick Mark XL. It was hidden when I was here.
Oh,
that thing is
It's impressive.
Super impressive.
Yes.
And very intimidating.
Who made that? That funny guy.
Okay, so we all just got done watching Avengers Infinity War, and we invited these guys back to record the next episode. So we're giving everybody a review of the movie, along with our first audience ever.
Round of applause.
Let's hear the audience.
Round of applause.
That's crazy. You guys sound 10 times bigger on the.
What would you say?
speakers.
That's like 30, 80, like 120
Oh
people
my
are here,
God.
right?
167, actually.
There it is.
Everybody from the
It's a
movie.
lot of people.
We're gonna do our best to review this movie, but like every other episode that we review a movie, it goes to shit, and I'm sure it's gonna be plenty entertaining.
It's going to be great.
Before we get into the movie, can I do something really fast? I just want to tell you guys that having Curtis and Goat on this episode is awesome because some of the listeners do know that they were friends at a very young age, and I was actually really excited to be there for the moment where they had seen each other since, how old?
It's probably third grade.
Third grade, I think.
Yeah, we haven't
So
seen
this
each
is
other
the first
since
time
third
you guys see each other?
Yeah.
So like 9?
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since like
And
9.
so in my mind, I was like, man, I really hope I get to see this.
He
but
wanted to see us cry. And we
it
just
probably
weren't
won't
gonna give it to
happen.
him.
And I happened to be talking to Goat, and Curtis just walked up, and it was like, oh my God, this is happening.
It went in slow motion.
Yeah, and it was like they just started running towards one another and like embraced each other.
Hey, Curtis, can you give my backpack real quick?
Oh.
Well, look,
Damn.
I have a problem because right now I have two villains. Because not only do I have Curtis, which really great to see, by the way, but I also have Brandon.
You done fucked up, AA Ron. You done fucked up.
Who called me out during the movie.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, during
Yo.
We'll get into that.
So while we're thinking about that, should we give a disclaimer about spoilers?
Oh, there's gonna be-
There's
Is
going to
there
be
one?
total
Plenty of
spoilers in this
spoilers, yeah.
movie.
Is there spoilers? Are we doing this?
In
Do
this
you
podcast.
know? I hope you already watched it. If you
Before
didn't,
totally spoiling.
F yourself. Nah, I'm just playing. Don't do all that. On the episode that Curtis was on, he brought up one promise that I made to him. So I'm fulfilling that promise right now.
go, oh my god, oh my god.
When
Donatello.
so as we mentioned that I haven't seen Curtis since 3rd grade. That's not a made up story. That's a true story. So we split apart in 3rd grade. Tearful goodbye. Goodbye. I moved to Germany, and he stayed in Sacramento, of course. He didn't come with me. We were young. There's laws against that.
Yeah.
And I remember telling him that I will bring you a German Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't bring him a German Ninja Turtle, but I brought him a Donatello,
Which was my favorite of
which
all.
is his favorite.
Yes.
So fulfilling promises. That's you, man.
Thank you, man.
I'm happy. I am truly happy to see you. I've been talking about it. My wife is irritated by it at this very moment because I've been talking about it the whole time, like mad giddy.
Honestly, like I told my mom that that Brandon was back around. I was like, "You remember Brandon Adams?" And she was like, "Yeah, he lived down the street. He used to go play all the time." I was like, "Yeah, well, I haven't seen him since like 3rd grade."
Yeah.
And she was like, "You guys used to play the Ninja Turtles, and where she remembered the turtlenecks."
Yeah, I wore mad turtlenecks. I wore mad turtlenecks and overalls.
You guys didn't understand that Ninja Turtles then. They didn't wear turtlenecks.
We did. We wore the turtlenecks.
To play Ninja Turtles?
I was like the
to
Keith
do
Sweat
anything, to go to
Donatello.
school.
Oh, I thought it was just to play Ninja
No.
No,
Yeah.
we just wore turtlenecks because we were kids.
I can't say anything because I wore corduroys. So.
I wore
That's
that too.
actually
I
true.
had some corduroys.
Hey, no, you have that white turtleneck that you wore in that
Ew,
picture.
white.
I don't remember.
He has a picture of him
Oh,
and his
dear.
sister, and it's like a white turtleneck.
Is it like the turtleneck from Vacation, where it's just like
Yeah,
a part
it's
of
just
it?
the
Yeah.
bottom part of it.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
So, what is the difference between a German Ninja Turtle and just an American Ninja Turtle?
And the Ninja Turtle.
Well, when I was in 3rd grade, it was, I mean, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Where did I get my German turtle news? I don't know.
Like,
but he was going to Germany, and in my mind, that you
They
mean
had
going to
different-
Mars.
yeah, they
so
had
they're gonna
different
have
turtles.
different Ninja Turtles there, right? I mean, you could have
Yeah.
told me this was one of them.
I kid you not, like we acted like we were like someone was passing away. And,
Dude, there were so many
That's
tears.
cute. That's
yeah.
cute.
Steve
That's
Rogers.
Yeah, we were. I was genuinely hurt.
Yeah.
And
That was rough. Yeah.
so yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No,
very
you're
much.
welcome, man.
It's
like
good
I said,
to see
I'm
you guys
really,
in the same room together.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yes.
Well, it's weird that like we knew each other in like the 3rd grade, and then independently of one another. You know, I met Bird when I worked at Borders, and he went to high school with Bird. So there's all this weird connection between the three of us.
He
So-
worked with my 7th grade PE teacher.
What?
Who's your 7th grade? Oh yeah, Mr.
Yeah, yeah.
Zapata.
Zapata,
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah, that's true.
It's
So
like
we have all
it's like we
these.
just kept missing each other, like walking
Yeah.
through like separate doors and shit. And it's just
Yeah.
like,
But Hardly Heroes brought you
Which
together.
is super
And
weird.
I gotta
We worked at
say-
Target while we worked at the Borders, so we were like in the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, in the same.
which is hella
strip mall.
random.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes,
so
that's
weird.
true. And you keep posting
T25.
on your
Shout out.
on your Facebook, buddy. You're posting your albums, and
Oh, yeah.
and he keeps answering the albums that like changed his life, and I'm like, holy shit, we are like parallel kids. Like he's posting the same albums, and I'm like, he posted Morning View by Incubus, and I was
Yes,
like, oh,
great one.
mine was Make Yourself, but still, like we're still right on the same
That's
Incubus
awesome.
timeline. Yeah,
It's almost like you're my mirror.
I know it's weird.
My mirror staring back at
I'm
me.
just,
So funny.
it means something to me that like you guys got reunited from the show. Like
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time, and they're
you
like,
do.
"No way!" I'm like, just to get it in, we're gonna really hope that the tavern on the other side is gonna be able to keep us from not jumping around in the movie because we know we do that all the time. So,
We'll
We've
try.
been drinking a bit.
You know, I always feel kind of weird starting off because I don't.
all right, I'll start.
Yeah, you go.
I was going to say when it started, the distress signal like kind of threw me off. I'm like, wait,
That was
what's
farther
going
into
on? So in that beginning credit scene, right where it says Marvel, you start hearing them
distress
calling
call.
out to the radio, you know, that it's a distress signal. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I didn't really think from Thor Ragnarok that this is where it was going to start.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
I
it's
totally
kind of
figured it
like,
was starting
oh
here,
shit,
yeah.
is this like what's going on? And them throwing you right into that, I was like, oh shit, like
You kind of have to.
Right.
So, without talking about any specific parts, just kind of give me a general idea of what you thought about the movie. Just, you know, you liked it, you didn't like it.
What do you give it out of 10?
There you go.
Like right away. I hate doing. I need like. I need
You
to
like that.
second watch.
That's where your mind's at.
I gotta
Let's do this shit.
Usually I give it like a few days. I'm like, I usually can't talk about a movie right afterwards, but
Right.
we're here, we're doing
Yeah,
it, so I may as well.
it's-
Today, what would you give it out of 10?
Out of 10.
a 9.
Wow.
Wow, you're
Wow.
so
Out
high.
there.
Because
Sorry.
and the reason why, just let me give
Sorry.
you, there is something that happened in this movie that I've been asking for so long, and that I was excited that it finally happened. And It was such an emotional roller coaster for me, and I will get into it later why I gave it a 9, but that's the main reason why, is because I've been asking for this from early on in the movies, and I finally got it.
I still haven't seen any dinosaur buttholes, so I am still waiting.
Okay, so we got Buddy. Let's hear Bird.
Let's
his
jump
villain.
back and forth.
So
Yeah, let's go to Bird.
Bird, tell him why he's wrong.
Bird.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm more of like a 6 or a 7.
Just a general
Thank you, Logan,
Idea
in
of
the
why?
background.
Be
It might
quiet,
be.
Logan.
It might be the end of it. I might need to see it again because there's a lot of information.
The end was rough.
Yeah, and not just the end being rough, but also just kind of like I would like to review it knowing where it's going.
Right.
We had discussed a tiny bit.
Oh.
That I was actually surprised by how the movie went, but now I feel like I totally know where part 2 goes. So that's a little.
Not necessarily.
You don't know shit,
Yeah.
Red Skull.
Ooh, we cooking.
Look, if we're just
For
going to call
the
people out.
listeners, I have my hand in a stirring the pot position, saying I'm cooking.
Yes.
To Aaron right now.
All right, Aaron,
Look at the wrist.
let's hear what you had to say.
Mine's like an 8 or a 9. Wow. It's real, and I bet it would go up if I saw it again, because it wasn't like there was funny parts, but it wasn't positive. It wasn't like any other Marvel movie we've seen. It was very dour. It was very down, but we needed it. Like that's what we needed, and we joked, but there was stuff I did not expect, like seeing different characters and characters.
What different character?
Like Red Skull. Like Red Skull. Jesus.
You wouldn't hear it. You wouldn't hear it.
Voiced by Ross Marquand from
Good job,
Walking
Goat.
Dead.
Just gotta.
Goat, you want to go next?
Wait, I should
Oh,
go
no,
next.
it's Curtis. Oh,
okay.
I'm
Sorry,
his
Curtis.
villain.
Curtis.
Yes,
Today
go ahead.
you're my villain, but normally it's him.
I saw this movie on Thursday
Yes,
and
I
again
know.
today. So I didn't want to be the only guy in the office who hadn't seen it on Friday, so I went and
I
saw
understand
it.
that.
And I am way more on the Bird side of the spectrum here.
Okay.
For me, it's like a 5 or a 6. At this point. Sorry. And that's not to say I disliked the film. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
Be quiet, Logan.
And that's, I'm not.
Anyone says less than 9, you're gonna
I know that I know 5 sounds bad, but I'm saying like in
Sure.
the grand scheme of like movies, it's like a 5 or 6 to me.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of even Marvel films, it's like a 5 or 6 to me. But not a lot of Marvel films are way up there for me. I didn't dislike the film. I wasn't that surprised by a lot of stuff, and I feel like they had a chance to really make it weighty and make it serious and
Sure.
dour and hit us in the face with stuff and really put us in a place where there were stakes, where we felt something for
Right.
these characters. And they took it so far in that direction that now, like, I'm on the same page as Bird, where I'm just like, if in the second one none of this shit gets reversed, my rating will go way up for this. But
Okay.
all of this is
Well, it
going to
has
get
to.
turned back. So
Yeah.
it didn't matter. So there were no stakes. All the things that made you feel something in this movie are fake and wrong and false,
Yeah.
and they never happened. So when you got to that moment where you're seeing your favorite character tell Mr. Stark, I don't want to go, and you're welling up, and then in a year we're like, oh good, motherfucker's back.
So basically what Curtis is saying is this movie is like a push-up bra of the Avengers.
Exactly, yeah. It's
I get
fake.
it.
Yes.
I understand.
Quick question. I know that when we first met you, you kind of said that you weren't really that big of a fan of big budget movies, right?
Sure.
You're kind of more a fan of the lower budget, kind of more thought provoking, I guess,
Right.
type movie. Does any of that play into your idea of the movie, or did you kind of watch it
Sure.
without that?
I suppose, like, if you're asking me, like, give this movie a rating in the overall scope of cinema,
Yeah.
like from like Citizen Kane to this, it's like a 3 or a 2. Like it's
But that's
nothing,
different,
but
yeah.
it's totally, and that's not. I'm not talking shit about the movie. It has its place. It's super fun, and I'll pay to see it. Again and again. I'll go to all these movies. I'm going to see Aquaman. I'm going to see all these movies. It's not like I'm never going to watch them. Just in the grand scheme of cinema, it's not got a high rating. But in the scheme of even Marvel movies in this, right now today, I still like Ant-Man better. I still like Guardians better.
Ant-Man.
I still
All right.
like.
Wow.
I still like.
see,
Not on
It's a
there.
good movie. I love Ant-Man.
I still like Black Panther better. Those movies are better to me. I think I might even like the last Avengers. I think I like Civil War more than I liked this.
Okay.
Yeah, see,
totally
I
see
did my
that.
rewatch, and I liked Ant-Man a lot when I first watched it. On my second watch of of Ant-Man, I was not interested, not engaged, and just I was bored. Like the whole movie, I was bored.
Oh, you don't appreciate Paul Rudd.
No, and it's not even
Paul Rudd's amazing.
It's not even
Love
Paul
the
Rudd. Like,
Rudd.
I love Michael Pena. Like,
Yeah.
super awesome. But that's,
Why are you looking at the Mexican guy when you say you like Michael Pena?
No, I was looking at the camera behind you.
Oh,
But yeah, I like Black Panther too.
Hey Logan, you want to switch out with me?
And I love and I love Falcon. I love Falcon. I mean,
because he's a bird.
Way to
right?
cover.
Thank you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't.
love that Logan's on my side.
Go. You want to go? Or you want me to go?
You go ahead. Man.
All right. So I'd probably be around an 8 right now. It depends on similar to what Curtis is saying. The next movie will either make it better for me or worse. With comic book movies, I'm expecting them all to come back. So that's what we got
Tell
in
that
comic
to
books.
Quicksilver.
Tell that to Logan.
Yeah.
You know what? I was thinking about it, and my first thought was a 9. It was a 9.
Bless you.
Yeah, I like that.
But
I like that.
I brought it down.
Ooh.
2.
You guys all bring good points to the table. So
No,
I started
definitely.
thinking about it. I started mulling it over. I'm gonna have to give it a solid 7.5.
I like it. That's good.
Like just as a whole, I'm incorporating first time feels, bringing in like the whole movie. I'm not as a movie buff or behind like looking at the intricate details as say a Curtis or.
So you're
Bird.
making fun of Curtis that he's
No, I'm
hoity-toity.
not. I
is what
think
you're
no.
saying.
Everything he said was spot on. For what he brings to the table. Like I would see it from those eyes if I had that knowledge of it. Even Manny has. He sees movies in a different light than most individuals.
So you're giving him a compliment.
It's not a compliment. It's just a fact. I mean, it doesn't have to be nice. It's just true. But 7.5 for me. I mean, it was probably the only Marvel movie that I could even begin to even compare to a fanfare of a Star Wars to build that mythos.
That's so funny you say that.
So, like, there's moments in that movie where I can literally understand why individuals that like Star Wars to the magnitude that they do would enjoy this movie. Like, I can see the parallels there. There's like a scene where I forgot this the monologue for Thanos, and he's like just talking, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like seeing the actual like this character development, or just seeing his true character and how he builds from that, and I'm relating it to like a scene of where you might be so attached to a Luke Skywalker or a Darth Vader or something like that, and so you're invested in this character.
Why I gave this movie so high is because there was parts in the movie that it was like tugging at my heart of being like getting so into these characters. Like, I don't want to jump into the movie, but there's certain
Just jump.
what it was is there was so many parts in this movie where I just felt so hard for the characters that in the other movies you feel it a little bit, but there was like in the Wakanda scene where they're like Wakanda forever, and they were like, we're gonna die, and they were like, then this will be an epic way to die. Like that to me like pulled at my heartstrings and being like, yes, like that's that moment you always think of in every superhero movie where your back's against the wall and you're just like, we're just gonna do it to do it. And then seeing like just with so many characters, all the different parts, like it just pulled to me every time. It was like an emotional roller coaster for me, and that's what I really wanted out of the Marvel movies. And I just always felt like everything was going to be okay, and they finally didn't do that. It felt like an Empire Strikes Back to me, where they just kept winning, and they just kept trying to be like, well, we're just going to keep going, and keep fighting back. And that was finally in this movie, I finally got that, and that's why it was so high for me.
See, like, I agree with everything you're saying, but if you take it just that one step further, because did you get any of that in this movie? They gave it to you, and they're gonna take it all back.
But see, where you're better about it is my initial reaction, and I'll admit it. I'm basing it on just what happened, and I love that when we walked out of the movie, a lot of my friends that aren't like as invested as me are like, I have so many questions. How did this all happen? Yeah. And when we get later on into the movie, we'll talk more about it, but they were just like, I don't know what's going on. And I love too the casual fan that they're just like head exploded, like didn't understand what was going on. And for me, in the back of my mind, I knew that it was going to be reversed.
Right.
But knowing that they did it, and I tried to leave that out of it, I was like, man, dude, you guys crushed me at that.
I guess I just can't go. I can't forget that they're just gonna yank it all back. It's a fucking yo-yo, you know.
So
I mean, that's what the source material does, right? I mean, yes,
It's
that's
true.
what we're getting
That's
in the
true.
comics.
Yeah.
It's like we know that superheroes don't ever really die.
Yeah.
But I understand. It's like we got for the first time. We've got. So sometimes when I explain to people why I like these movies, why I like comic books so much, is because you actually don't ever get to feel as bad as we did at the end of that movie. Everything's always good. We always save the day, regardless
That's
if
how
we
I feel.
destroyed all of New York. We're all happy. You know, people die, and 5 minutes later we forgot they died. So this was the first
Age of
time
Ultron.
that we felt a little emotional about it, and I did like that. I did feel good about it. But one thing that did stick out to me is I did kind of feel like the whole Gamora Thanos story was a little forced. I felt like this was kind of like put it right in the middle, like an afterthought almost.
It was weird because like I knew it was coming. I knew, it wasn't hidden from the beginning that she was. It's not. It wasn't convenient that she was Thanos' adopted daughter.
Right.
It's always been coming that way, but yet somehow still it felt wedged in.
Yeah,
And she
away.
was
which
definitely
is
the
weird.
crown jewel. Like, you knew that he was her favorite.
Okay, so the introduction. We've got Thor getting his ass whooped, Loki being Loki, and we're introduced to
Heimdall's
Thanos.
And Hulk failing to kill
The Hulk-
Thanos.
But see, I actually liked that fight scene because he's fighting him, and at first you're like, dude's whooping his ass. And then he just grabs his arms and was like, no.
So that boxing match was it was silly and kind of cheesy, but it was awesome. Like,
it was necessary.
it looked good. Like,
they had to give you the stakes of who Thanos
And that's-
is,
exactly.
and what
That's
he's
why it's
capable
That
of.
you can beat him.
Like, no one stands up and goes toe to toe with the Hulk, but Thanos not only did that, he whooped the shit out of him.
In every-
and he
in every
let him-
MCU movie. They definitely set Hulk as the alpha of as far as strength, as far as going toe to toe with. They made it so that he is the apex, and so you need to have those moments of Thanos and Hulk having a straight boxing match. And even add to the fact that he probably has Thanos probably has other means to deal with the Hulk, but he said, "Fuck it, my bad, we're not cursing." By the way.
We already did.
He just said, "Fuck it, I'll fight you on your level and see how this turns out."
But
and,
I like
and
that
gave him the business.
Yeah, he led him to believe in the beginning that he was whooping his ass.
Yeah, but even as like through the writing, they told us like this was never going to be a real
'cause
fight
the other
because
guy-
when the Maw holds
Yeah.
off the other villain and he's like let him have his fun. It's like
Right.
That's how fucking badass our villain is in this movie.
Yeah.
And they were really setting us up for that.
Yeah, but Hulk in the movie, like, he feels like, yeah, I'm whooping his ass,
Right.
and then he was just like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was awesome.
and I at first I wasn't sure if I liked it, but when Hulk wouldn't come back out, I wasn't sure about it. But
Being a
Thanos
bitch.
scared Hulk so bad that he just like, nope, I'm done. I'm not going to fight anymore.
I feel like we could have used one line other than no from Hulk in exposition.
That's
you know,
pretty
like
lame.
any moment of like you come out. He tries multiple times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
He never comes out, and he does kind of go green face and no or whatever. But it would have been nice if like he said no, scared or anything to give us that. The exposition of like why Hulk is doing this, because now I feel like in the next movie I'm afraid there's some sort of like scientific reason that the Hulk's not coming out. They, whatever, it can't be coaxed out. So
is that okay? Like, are you okay with them just showing and not telling? Because I'm okay.
Most of the time, yeah. It's just that with Hulk, he so rarely speaks anything. So it would have been nice in this moment because they're showing us something that, like, if you're a Hulk fan, this isn't something that's very normal of Hulk not wanting to come out, and they're usually fighting for control of the body rather than trying to get one to come out. So it's interesting that the Hulk is actually scared, that this monster within this man is scared. Plus it was another reason to give us Hulkbuster, which again I feel like stuff was cut out of this movie. Including the introduction to that Hulkbuster, because like they don't even give us an explanation. They just go into that fight scene at the end and he's in it, and it's like, well, they could have said, hey, they
could have even had him fucking look at the Hulkbuster armor, like in the jet,
like
or
something. Is that for me?
Why was like this kicked my ass or something before? But it was like the only thing that led up to it.
He backhanded said that. He was like, yeah, well, this beat Hulk before, so it's gonna beat you. And I was like, really, that's it? That's all.
Why was it so weathered? Like, why didn't they have like it all like
one? I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird to me.
Hulk left. Why would you wax a car that's not gonna get driven again?
That's Tony Stark has 56 cars that are never gonna get driven again, and he's just holding on to them.
While we're on the topic of Hulk, I mean, if we're gonna go to this point, then we can like continue in the order. But I would have liked to see if we're just wishful thinking. Hulk fighting, Banner fighting as Hulk, and then getting beaten up so bad that Hulk stops him somehow, some way, and he reverts back to Banner mid-fight with Thanos. That shows that he's actually afraid. They need to start showing the when they did it a little bit. I want to see the mental dialogue between Hulk and Banner.
Agreed.
There's been too many movies where Hulk has. If they gave us a little bit of it in Ragnarok, saying that Banner's weak. He's not here. That's why I've been Hulk for 2 years.
Smoldering fire.
A little bit. That's good. They should have gave us more of that. I would have enjoyed more because that was supposed to be a Hulk movie. That was Marvel's way of making a Hulk movie.
Right.
Definitely.
100. They need to start giving more of a life to Bruce Banner and Hulk as a movie. If they're never going to give him an actual movie,
well, they can't right now.
They can't do it, but just then give us it in the writing in multiple tales. Yeah. Those last 2 movies were perfect. This one and Ragnarok were perfect to just kind of give a personality to Hulk and Bruce Banner. Use that. Just you had a perfect moment. You had someone that can beat the shit out of Hulk, and all you gave us was a Two-Face. All you gave us is Two-Face. Yeah. I thought that was trash. Yeah. I've never read a Hulk book where it was Two-Face, where he was
half and half.
And I've never seen Bruce Banner and have green skin and you can turn it on and off. I hated that. I hated how they showed him just struggling to do it. That's never been how he transformed.
I did like the funny part though, where Tony Stark's like, "All right, dude, take it over, we need you." I thought that was good, but how we just kept trying to get him, and he was like, no.
It would have been much better if he just stayed regular skinned and tried to do it though. Yeah. You don't need him to turn green.
There are things that happen like this in these kind of movies where because you can't stay canon, you can't stick to the books perfectly. Yeah. But you do need to throw us a bone. So you need to throw Hulk fans that bone of saying, if we're gonna make this into he can turn it on and off, he can transition whenever he wants, then we got to give him a little bit of mental dialogue between Hulk and Banner. When they change something, you got to give us a good reason to why you're doing it, and it's sort of like in the X-Men movies where Beast now is half the time he's just Nicholas Holt face.
Yeah, why not?
And half the time he's Blue Fuzzy face. It's if you're reading a fan of the
favorite
comics,
character, Blue Fuzzy face.
Yeah, why the fuck are you changing back and forth?
Yeah, you can't change back and forth. Oh, it's just easier for you, and you get to give your actor screen time. Okay, well, at least give us a decent reason within the movie on why you're doing that. Yeah. And they didn't really do that with the Hulk.
Well,
all right. So where are we at now?
We're in New York right now. So
after that scene, they get into the big fight, and Heimdall, who breathes his last breath, does one last Bifrost shot for Hulk to come back to Earth. He lands in New York in the Sanctum Sanctorum, whatever.
Sanctum Sanctorum.
But Loki dies.
Loki dead.
Did we think that? Did we know Loki was going to die?
I didn't know it was going to be that early in the movie.
Not that early.
I kind of thought he was going to die, but not literally within the first 10 minutes.
What did we think about his what were they called? The Black Order? Is it his crew? Thanos' crew?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were awesome.
I thought they were really cool. I think the guy who played which was the guy who looked like
Squidward.
He looked like Voldemort. That dude was cool. He had really good body control, really good motion.
Yeah.
His body language, the way he acted that character out was amazing. I thought he was really cool. I thought he had a great voice. I thought his powers were super legit. Everything was so effortless. It was really cool.
Right. Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm just gonna say something. I'm gonna back up. So
hold your paddle, Aaron.
No, it doesn't matter. He doesn't look at the paddle.
Yeah,
that's true.
Paddle's up.
Thanks. I like the Black Order. I wish we would have gotten more of the girl.
Yes,
who was Carrie Coon?
Let me just can I
from The Leftovers?
Can I just tell you something? Can I just tell you something?
Yeah,
Carrie Coon from The Leftovers is that character. At the end of this movie, half the population goes to shit. So all we know is season 4 of Leftovers has been confirmed.
Boom.
What?
No.
I was like, hold on, wait.
It is. It's Carrie Coon. She was added late into this film.
I didn't.
Yeah, she was added late. She's also 8 months pregnant, so none of that was her acting. It was her voice. And she was great. I really liked her voice performance in it. But also, I just found the parallels between The Leftovers.
Right when I saw, I'm like, I first thought Leftovers.
It seems like we got rid of them pretty fast, though, right? Are any of them left? Did they all?
No, I think they all.
Yeah, they all.
Right?
I think
one in the. Yeah, they all perished.
The big one in the dome.
The big one in the dome. The Maw gets out in space.
One in the pink, one in the stink.
Right. Right. Yeah. For sure. Anyway, sorry. Let's go back to the beginning of the movie.
I know.
No, shit, I lost.
Oh no, Loki. So we talked about Loki dying. And we wind up in
so
Sanctum
back to
Sanctorum, and
yeah.
the Hulk comes down to tell Doctor Strange that Thanos is coming.
Yeah, which was, I kind of thought that's how it was all going to happen.
Right.
That's how they were going to pull Doctor Strange into it, which was cool. And just, it happened really fast with, Iron Man pretty much. He wanted to hang up his suit, even though you knew he wasn't going to. Then he meets Doctor Strange. I was fine with how that all kind of played out. And then it just kind of jumped right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because them and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Doctor
I'm
Who.
glad that Doctor Strange wasn't wearing those
Doctor
gloves.
Who popped down in his fucking phone booth.
I mean, there was a Doctor Who reference
Is that a spaceship?
from Peter.
Wasn't
I never watched Doctor Who, by the
Carrie
way.
Coon's brother in The Leftovers one of the Doctor Who's?
Yeah,
Christopher Eccleston,
who was also
Oh yeah, he's also in
There you go.
the Dark Elf and
Yeah.
the whatever.
Thor.
The second Thor. Yeah,
So, once the spaceship shows up,
everything.
the
kinda-
circle spaceship,
Yeah,
The
the
donut.
donut.
yeah.
One part in the movie that I got really excited, even though I saw it in the trailer, when Spider-Man's hairs jumped straight up, then
That
he had
was-
the Spidey sense. I got really excited about that. And I had already seen it before, but in the movie, it was freaking awesome. And I love how they did a little cameo with his, his
Friend.
best friend,
Yeah.
where he's like, make a scene.
distraction.
Yeah, we're all going to die. And everybody just bounces out and he just kind of...
Have they ever dived into his Spidey sense?
No.
No, that was the first
that was
time.
the first time they even showed
Right.
Spidey sense.
Yeah.
pretty much. So they're just alluding that he knows that he has Spider sense now.
Now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's all we needed, right? Like,
It
all
is.
we need-
Like, we were all
all we
satisfied.
need is
No, I'm not
one
arguing
line.
it.
All we need
One
is one line from Hulk sometimes, and all you
Yeah.
need is just like the hairs on his arm to stand up to know he's got Spidey sense, and that's really important for fans when we're all saying in movies like the first
the fact that
Spider-Man
he even
when
knew
we're
which
like,
way to look. That
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
that just shows like his hair stood up. He turned directly looked directly at the ship.
Right.
That's
I
exactly
did have
what
a
he
little
needed.
trouble with that because he didn't seem to have the Spidey sense the whole time. Like he was getting caught off guard throughout the
He
movie,
knew those
and
people were coming. That's when he makes that
there was a
comment
couple
about
of
the
times where he
eggs.
got caught. But I don't know. Maybe
sure,
that's
but
too
it's
detailed.
something, right? It's happening,
Yeah,
and you could always argue that he's still really young and he's still
Yes,
developing his
yeah.
powers or whatever. But they gave us something. They gave us a piece of it, and
But there's
that's
so many things going on. Like when he was getting hit, I mean, imagine the inner workings, and this will jumping a little bit ahead, but in that big fight scene that he's in with everybody's jumping through portals, like everything's going on. It's not like one thing's coming at once. Like there's multiple people moving around, jumping around, like
yeah.
it's not, like
Is
in
it-
that where it's one
I
little
do
thing.
appreciate the choreography between all of the
yes.
fight
Oh, when
scenes.
they
During
all
the
go
fight
after him,
scenes,
it
they
was-
all.
that was cool.
Sure.
yeah.
That particular fight scene though struck me very X-Men-esque.
Oh, okay.
When they
Oh, you have
And when
to
they
X2
had-
when you had Nightcrawler jumping through shit.
Yeah, and not to mention when they have Thanos and each of them has one appendage and they're holding them down.
Oh, I like
I mean,
that.
that's very but it's
I
very
know.
much an X-Men way of fighting where they use all their powers in conjunction with each other to team up to do one special thing, like
That's a good
speedball
point.
special.
Yeah.
or,
I can see
like
that.
And so to me, when they did that, I was like, this is a comic book moment. It was kind of a classic comic book.
And that's why that was really good. I like that now, like we have in canon that Thanos has a glove, because it'd been weird if that scene if he like had an infinity sock, because that would have been really awkward.
Get that
like
off him.
I think,
Yeah, well.
just like Spider-Man's like right near his crotchal area, Iron Man's just right at
yanking
the
on
toe.
it.
It's all
Infinity
bad.
dunk.
Yeah,
all dunks matter.
All dunks matter, man. That would have been dope. Like just a Nike shoe, just. pulling it
Okay,
off.
so there's a fight in New York. They all come crashing down.
Yes.
And how did they
Iron
get out?
Man-
Oh, they wind up in space.
Yeah, Iron
Yeah,
Man,
that was-
Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange gets abducted.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man was already on the ship. Iron Man goes up there, tries to get Spider-Man off. Spider-Man stays.
Well, lucky
and then they're in
Spider-Man.
space.
And here, this is another moment where they did a cool thing, which I appreciate when they unlike the Hulkbuster not getting its moment, the Iron Spider gets its moment.
That's what I wanted to bring up. Like, how fucking dope was it? Like, so I thought he
Yeah.
was already gonna. I thought he was gonna like have the Iron Spider like
Oh, once he
armor
started.
already.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
like when he put his fucking web slingers on, I thought that was like his Iron Spider,
Right.
Nanotech,
nanotech.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. I was excited as a motherfucker. I was
about
like,
to-
all right, cool.
about to pass
and
out.
Then, I mean, even when Iron Man calls the suit, I just leaned over to my wife and said, "That's the Iron Spider suit. I bet you." And sure enough, no, you good. And sure enough, like it just latches onto him, and I like the fact that he doesn't even know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Well, he's also about to pass out.
Yeah, he's about to pass out. I wish that part didn't happen. I wish it would have just been him falling off and then him being like surprised that he had the suit on, but he still was happy that he was like, you realized he had this suit and was fucking geeked as hell. Like I gotta say they do a good job of bringing the childness out of Spider-Man and out of Peter.
Dude, when he anoints him, like that whole scene of just seeing the excitement in his face, I thought was really great because he just kind of pulls him in and being like, "Oh shit!" Like I'm an Avenger now, and like I kind of put myself in his shoes and being like, "Yeah, this is what I dreamed."
I have to take this serious. I had, at this very moment, I had to take this serious. The kitty gloves are off. I've come this far. I need to just fucking just keep trucking. And all the work I've done to prove myself to Tony and over again and save people, like it's come to this. And
when he says, like, you know, how am I supposed to be your neighborhood Spider-Man
when I don't have a neighborhood?
Yeah, and I thought that that little line.
Well, he said it was cheesy, but it was like a great line.
It's a good line.
It's an awesome line.
He's like, okay, that didn't make sense. I'm like,
no.
It made perfect sense.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Iron Man's line didn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know how you're saying that doesn't make sense. Like, he literally said, how am I going to be a neighborhood Spider-Man without a neighborhood?
Well, I think because Tony doesn't like to be, you know, shown up, and he definitely,
he gave him his moment.
Yeah, he was like, hey, man, like, look, I'm not a kid. I realize the situation, and I'm standing up to it. And Tony was like, I don't like that.
And I got to say, like, growing up, not a huge Avengers fan, and even now, like, I watch the movies, I'm not, like, that invested in the Avengers. Don't really care. I don't care about Robert Downey Jr. I don't care about Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans or Chris...
Wrong about that. Have we moved on to Viz yet?
Not yet. So, I just wanted to say, when it comes to Spider-Man, and the Avengers, didn't really care about the Avengers, and even now, I'm not a huge Avengers fan. I do watch all the movies, but not that big a fan. But I can say that I fucking love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Yes. I think he's really great, and
he's doing a good job.
I think that he's killing it to the point where Victoria Alonso and all the heads at Marvel can sort of take solace and be comfortable knowing that the next phase of Avengers, whatever they're doing, is in good hands with Tom Holland as their like leading man, and I think it gives them a little bit of leeway to be able to move into things like making other lesser characters take on monikers of Iron Man and Captain America and stuff like that.
Are they going to do more with Spider-Man though? I thought they're giving him back to Sony.
I don't know how contractually how it's going to work, but it would be nice if they were able to keep them.
I just had
to keep Spider-Man. Welcome back, buddy. But yeah, I think it'd be cool if they gave some of these other characters a shot at becoming bigger named characters, and it's kind of cool that Tom Holland is there to make sure that they can give it to the young stars and they can like kind of carry the torch.
But he disappeared.
Well, yeah, but he'll be
We're not
back.
gonna get there yet.
Yeah, I was like, hold up, don't get too far.
Spoiler alert!
While we're still in New York, and we can jump to space and wherever afterwards.
Or Scotland.
Or Scotland. Did anyone else? Will anyone else feel that they were trying to write the comparisons to Doctor Strange and Tony
Stark? Yeah. They did that a little too much.
Yeah,
we all expected that to happen, and it happened like way too easily.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, you're just serving it up.
I think they're just doing fan service at that point.
Yes, exactly.
Because I honestly think every scene that I watched with Doctor Strange and Tony Stark talking together, it felt like I was watching Iron Man 1 again. Like just watching a D-bag become a hero throughout a movie, to the point where he got the lecture of, you're not a hero and all that stuff. Like or not saying he got that lecture, but that's what Tony got in Iron Man 1 or got it from Captain America at some point. And when he had to make the hard choice, he did. I'm not going to say what choice he made because later on in the movie. But I just saw that early on that they were going to start build a comparison to Tony Stark and Doctor Strange. And that's why they had them partnered up together. And also the fact that they literally are totally opposite ends of the spectrum as far as power sets was what I found interesting.
Because one of them has powers and one of them's rich.
Yeah, one is strictly
exactly
technology. I can figure it out with my mind. And the other one is magic and spells and sorcery.
But he is smart as well.
Yeah, they're both
just
smart.
More, it's like a photographic memory.
And as I'm saying, they have similar personalities, but they use their power sets or their knowledge in different ways. And often the comparison to magic is that it's science, or science is just a different type of magic. If I'm gonna even bring up comic books, Marvel even has a scientist supreme. in their book, where they've made it so that intelligence is likened to, witchcraft.
Right.
So I just think that I thought it was like cool that they actually paired them together, and they were like really trying to make them parallel characters. Because even in the books, that's pretty much what they are. Brash, egotistical buddies that that things happen to.
This guy? I'm the most humble of humble.
That misfortune happens to, and he ends up they end up having armor or magic or having a podcast.
Don't forget who turned you on.
Who turned me on? My wife turned me on. Yeah. Shit. What up, girl?
Okay, so what was it? Was it really worth talking about? Like,
In
not
space,
a whole lot happened.
so there was a fight in space. The mom
Yeah.
winds up dead, and then they crash land on
Titan.
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 Yeah, Titan.
Which is awesome. That planet, I love it.
Really?
I liked it a lot.
What the fuck? Really?
I liked it.
Okay.
That's fine.
And the backstory and
Sure. I guess
Okay,
it's a good
whatever.
backstory. I don't know. It's just it was sort of a desolate looking planet, and it didn't. There was visually it wasn't that cool. And
I'm a desolate looking planet.
that's true. I do look at your bald head and think,
There it is.
I think it used to be a lush, beautiful planet
It
with
was
lots of greenery.
gorgeous.
And
Well, it was more brown than green.
Or red.
Okay, we already talked a little bit about the battle on Titan, but what about Wakanda? We haven't talked about Wakanda. Cap's
Are we
back.
skipping Scotland?
yeah, we skipped Scotland.
Yeah, well, I mean, what? Okay, Vision and
Vision.
Scarlet Witch
I
are boning
understand
down.
Why he looks like a normal? I mean, he's.
They never explained why he was a
Actually,
regular person.
Oh, wait, hold on.
He's
Let me
evolving.
just go right back to this. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The one line of exposition that you needed is he is evolving.
Yep.
He
Yo.
went offline for
Good
2
job.
weeks, and he is evolving. That's the only line you need to explain why he looks like a human.
And-
I can tell you from knowing people who worked on the film, the
What?
real reason is because Paul Bettany
Didn't want to
hates
look.
getting in that fucking getup.
We-
They all hate getting in
But
their
if you
getup.
look
we
at it-
spoke about this. I'm tired of these cats wanting to be characters
Yeah,
and
but-
being pissed off about the makeup
it's
work.
I'm not
Same
sure
time-
Paul Bettany wanted to be a character. He was a voice.
Yeah.
When he started,
Right.
he was just the voice, and then
But
they were like, "Oh, we're gonna turn this
He
guy
didn't even
into a
watch the
really-
movies until he became Vision. He had never watched any of the movies until he actually became.
But
the
if you
character
look
Vision.
at it, 80% of the movie, he was Vision. Like, he was
for the
in
rest
the
of
whole get-up. And I
Yeah.
actually applauded him for that because I'm surprised he didn't make more of a fuss of being like, I don't want to be in this get-up the whole time. But I kept waiting for it to being like, he's not going to be
It was the
Vision.
first 2
It
minutes.
was a little bit of time.
It's when he was Viz.
Yeah,
He looked
let's
like a
let's
person.
let's only
Scar and
acknowledge him
Viz.
as
Knock it
Viz.
over. I'm like,
Thanks,
how did
Bird's
you write
finally
the
talking.
script and say Viz? And she was like, yeah, I'll say that twice.
Yeah.
Which I was like, if a third time you call him Viz, done.
You're going to walk out.
I was like, I'm done.
I'm done with this. I do want to ask this question: was everyone? Because I was fine with it. Was everybody satisfied with the dialogue and the moment that him and Wanda had to
Yes.
explain their relationship? I thought there should have been a little bit more to their relationship as far as explanation.
Definitely.
of how it
But-
got there. Like,
yeah.
but we knew coming into this, right?
I know,
that they
I-
were together.
I mean,
I think I got enough in
War.
Civil
fans
War.
know.
no, but I mean, they allude to
They
it
set
in
it up in
previous.
Civil War.
Yeah, in
I think
Civil
in
War, they
he's
cooked.
just popping at it.
Yeah,
I
he's-
think in Civil War he's just trying to give her the dubs.
The whole paprika,
doing
you know.
his best to like trying to
God,
quarter.
that paprika.
She had to
I
tell him
hate
to
that.
stop coming
I
through
hate
the
their
walls
storyline.
in her bedroom.
But I'm just saying, if a chick like buries me 18 feet deep in the
Yeah,
earth,
for real.
I'm kind of washing my hands at that point. There's literally other fish in the sea to talk to.
There's not-
Especially if I can evolve myself to look like Paul Bettany.
There's only
You know
one
what I mean?
Scarlet Witch.
Like you're not like the only chick I can talk to. I
mean, she
I'm
is-
not gonna forget that you literally forced me into a ball.
Well, it's been 2 years.
Maybe that's what he's
It's been
into.
2 years. All right, my bad. It's
I know.
been 2 years.
Maybe
that's
it
what
turned
he's
him
into.
on.
Maybe,
Okay, you're right.
maybe
Maybe
him getting
that's-
put in the ground is what made him go.
That's
Yeah, that's
exactly
my girl.
how they spend their evenings. Like I should stay in Scotland, right? You trying to get buried?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was another thing though. He's like, what if I missed the 8 o'clock? And she's like, there's a 10 o'clock. What if I miss the 10 o'clock? What if I miss all the trains? I'm like, motherfucker, you fly.
Yeah.
Just go. Just fly
Yeah.
there.
Why do you take
care?
a train?
Whatever you want.
Why do you
Like
take a
London,
train?
What do you care? You know?
Fly home, dumbass.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm okay with them as a couple. I don't.
No. That wasn't the question. I'm finding them as a couple. Fuck it. Shit. You want to fuck a
I
robot?
just
I'm a
wonder if
robot.
he was like, hey, babe, can you bury me again tonight?
Yeah.
She's like, are you serious again? And he's like, come on.
we just did that 3 hours ago.
She's like,
really
leave me
gets
alone,
me
Vince.
going,
Go
yeah.
to sleep. I don't sleep, girl. You know I don't sleep.
Sure.
Oh yeah, this is where we introduce the people who take up the bulk of this
Oh my
fucking
god,
movie.
yeah. I
For
did because
being-
most of them disappeared.
For being a quote unquote Avengers movie, there
Yeah.
sure was a shit ton of Guardians in
There
this.
was a lot of Guardians.
A
It
lot.
did feel like another Guardians movie.
Tell me that part wasn't funny though, where Thor's in the spaceship and they're like, "Oh, this is like a real man. He's got
Oh, no,
real
it's all
muscles."
funny.
Like,
No,
When he does the
Guardians,
invitation-
they do funny.
Yeah.
but they definitely stole the show. Like in the
They had
whole
the most
movie.
time though.
Well, it's easy to steal the show when the show is about you.
Yeah, for real. I mean, that's literally this
Yeah.
movie was a Guardians.
It was a Guardians movie.
Yeah, because they're on Titan, they're on that other nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
their whole scene. And then.
No, it was a skull. It wasn't nowhere. I mean, don't.
What?
I don't think
Oh, yeah.
Rocket's alive.
See,
Yeah.
I
No,
said
he
the
did.
same thing.
Rocket
he
stayed
is.
alive.
He's
It
the
was
only one
Groot.
left.
Rock's alive.
Yeah, they show you a very long shot at the
Really?
end
Of
movie
everybody that's alive.
of the five
Oh.
people who are still there. You might have had a hard time seeing him because of the terribly Compton Bruce Banner into the Hulkbuster in the background.
Floating head banner.
Looked fucking
That did look
awful.
bad.
I love
It
that
looked
you said
bad.
that because we fought about that in the car on the drive
Well,
over
there-
here. He was like, "No, Rocket's dead." I'm like, "No, he's
I
alive."
will
He's the
know.
only one that makes it
I
out,
read
which
a
is why I
Times
think they got so
article
much
that
time.
said it was
All the Guardians are
all
gone?
the Guardians are dead.
No.
Rocket's
Died
still
or
We didn't see
disappeared.
him
Are you
go.
sure you remember
We
reading
watched-
that
we
too?
No, I know.
watched-
I believe you guys.
I believe you read,
Get it,
read it. But yeah, Rocket definitely watches Groot go and
Right.
then is standing
Okay.
there at the end
No,
with.
I counted all the Guardians are dead except for Rocket.
Yeah.
That's what I thought
Okay,
too. All right, good.
I believe you guys. I'm not trying to argue. I'm
Which
just
is
letting
really
you
odd
know.
that that's the one you keep.
I
Rocket.
love Rocket. He's
No,
my favorite.
I don't
I
think
like
it's
Rocket.
that odd. I think it's awesome, and I think maybe it could be the most cost effective. Though,
It's definitely the more.
though
yeah.
every single one of his shots is a is a VFX shot. I don't know. Maybe it costs less to keep him around than it
Is
costs
it
to
not
bring back
CGI bird?
to have
Right.
Chris Evans. Chris Pratt, sorry, one of the Chris's.
One of the
One of
Chris's.
those
Stop
Chris's.
rubbing off on you.
Yeah, to have one of those Chris's involved in the movie. So
See, that's where I disagree. I think it's cheaper to have Groot.
sure, but then you have to deal with Vin Diesel.
Right.
I was
Especially
very.
he says
Who cost?
one,
You think
three
Vin
words.
Diesel costs more than fucking?
No, I think
Bradley Cooper.
I think
than
that
Bradley Cooper.
not money wise, but emotionally for the
Right.
crew.
Timing.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel's a
is
scumbag.
is a drain on your
horrible person to
energy.
no,
work
I just
with.
use the one. You can get anybody else to say I am Groot.
It doesn't matter. He's locked in now.
Although I will say there's a funny story about when he first got the role of Groot and had to go into the booth to ADR his lines, and he asked if he could do his lines while standing on stilts so that he could feel like a tree.
That is
Come
weird.
on.
You heard it here
He's a
first,
weird dude.
people. Heard it here first.
He sat in a car seat while he was doing his lines.
For Baby
Furious.
Groot, yeah. I thought you meant for
I
Baby
sat in a
Groot.
high chair for Baby Groot. I want to feel like a baby. I can sit in this high chair for a mile a minute.
I thought he was going to be in one of the cars from Fast and the Furious or something.
I felt like I think Groot was pretty disappointing to me.
Oh really? I'm on
I
the
know-
other end of that spectrum. I
I
appreciate.
wanted him to be older again. I know Groot as you know Groot's power and what he's capable of from the comic books, and we got a little bit of that in Guardians, and we didn't get any of it in Guardians 2 because he's growing. I was just hoping that he was going to be bigger and more a lot stronger at this point.
Wait,
Maybe we'll get him all fully grown by the next one.
Maybe, but like you say, you know
dead.
his powers from. Yeah, he is dead.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
next
you're
one.
right.
Oh well, yeah,
He's disappeared.
But
Gone.
in your no, he's dead. Look, he's fucking dead.
Okay.
They're all dead.
Okay.
Now they're all coming back, but if we're gonna talk about them, they are in this movie. They did technically die.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like you saying, you know his powers from
Well,
the comics.
he's
and
a
stuff.
strong character. He gets
No.
them out of a lot of sticky situations.
I just don't know that most people know him from comics.
course not.
All
Of
we
course.
know him from, because I've read a lot of comics.
The toy
I
that
literally-
sells on the shelf.
all I
I
know
understand,
him
yeah.
is
The
from
cute guy,
movies.
the
And
cute
I liked
character
how
that
they did him
dances.
in this movie. I liked that. To me, it sort of shows us like if you take Groot as a himself from baby to adult Groot and pretend when he was a baby, the stuff he does as an adult is what he learned as a baby. The stuff that we saw him do in the first movie sort of makes sense from what we've seen him do in this movie of like becoming and going through like being a baby and doing the work he has to do, and then in this movie being like a total like dickhead teenager. But in the end, he sacrifices himself in a couple of ways. One by chopping off that arm to get the axe for
Right.
Thor, which is such a cool selfless
was
moment.
so great.
Such a good moment for him. Like he's playing that video game and he's just like, oh fuck it, I gotta help, and now I actually care.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he goes goes straight at Thanos, just like every other Avenger, which I thought was really cool, even though he was supposed to be a teenager, didn't care. That's the type of personality that in the end would encapsulate his crew, say we are Groot, and kill himself for the team. You know?
I think that...
I like that you said that because that's...
I think that the video game thing just kind of lasted a little too long for me. It's like he's just playing that video game even while they're fighting and dying, and it's like, oh, finally he's coming. I just thought it was a little too long, the whole video game thing.
I mean, I see that. Because I didn't mind it. I really didn't care because it was literally the equivalent of Baby Groot. He was Baby Groot did baby shit the whole fucking time.
Yeah. I didn't like Baby Groot.
I love Baby Groot.
It was just a reason to sell a cuddly toy. Yeah. I liked Big Groot. I loved full-fledged Groot.
Well, adult Groot doesn't exist without these iterations of baby and
but why do you think he'd be bigger? Because remember, it starts off right after fucking Thor Ragnarok. And he's a teenager.
Yeah, but so in the middle of Guardians, he went from a baby to a teenager. So I mean, like, why? Like, he's growing faster than any normal person.
And like, if Interstellar taught us
these
anything,
guys would all be 60 years old if he was growing like a normal person.
Good pull.
He's growing normal. You're right. He's growing.
Can I end every argument in, if Interstellar told us one thing,
it's the,
and I'll just say whatever, and then nobody remembers that movie anyways. So
okay, can we get to Wakanda now?
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Okay, let's get to Wakanda now.
Come on, just
and we knew we were going to Wakanda 2 seconds before they got there because they started the dope ass music.
Yeah.
And Bird, the music that Bird did not like apparently.
It was forced. I thought it was ridiculous.
I was like, I got it. I'm in Africa.
No other transition had music to prove you're in New York. They didn't play fucking 92 Wu-Tang Clan to go to New York.
Wait, hold on.
Let me just bagpipes to go to Scotland.
Bullshit.
But when you go to Wakanda,
no. You're wrong.
Hey, pull the paddle. Pull the paddle.
You're wrong.
Pull the paddle.
You're wrong.
Pull the paddle.
They have certain music for certain characters, and most of these characters don't have auditory cues, but when we went to space for the first time, we got Rubber Band Man playing.
True.
And an oldies classic playing. And if you didn't know that we were going to a Guardian scene, it's because you weren't fucking paying attention.
That song of the ship. It made sense.
Oh, because the music was diegetic, it makes a difference. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We can tell them.
If somebody was playing drums, I'd be like, oh, we're here.
Fuck you guys. I think that the going to Wakanda made sense, especially because they're going to capitalize on the popularity of Black Panther. That's still in theaters in some places.
Yes,
and so they turned that on, and everybody in that theater, white, black, or purple, started doing their little shoulder bumps when that fucking music started.
Tell me you didn't. Tell me you didn't.
Yeah, I did Wakanda.
Yeah, boy.
All 10 of us. I was to stand up and look for him.
I was waiting for Goat to stand up and be like, Wakanda forever.
Standing's not allowed due to the rules and regulations.
You went way against the rules.
Making arm movements was not going to be okay.
And we will get to where you broke the rules.
No, I don't. Look, between the three of us, let's not fight.
We can hear you.
Get the upper hand.
Hey, I don't know if you noticed, but Curtis's chair has slowly been moving over to
I
our
respect
side.
your opinion on this subject, and I will leave it at that.
Wakanda was my favorite part.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
I did. I liked
not
the battle.
First part, but the second one.
I like the all of their strategy. What did you say? Oh, pulling. I didn't like that. It irritates me that they when we're going back to Titan. You just mentioned pulling the glove off his arm, right?
Oh, no, I think you're saying the White Wolf's arm.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking.
I liked the first time I saw this movie. I literally thought Wakanda when. Afterwards, I thought, man, they really wedged that in there. Like that fight could have taken place anywhere. Anywhere could have happened. They didn't have to happen there. But now that after the second time, like I don't think it's forced at all. I think it could have happened anywhere.
Yeah.
But you wanted it to happen in Wakanda.
Oh, yeah.
You have an entire city protected by a dome, which, if utilized correctly, if anyone on the fucking Avengers had any sort of strategy, could have been a really useful tool to help win that fight.
Yeah.
But so it made sense that they would have it there. So
and
now
made sense.
I'm okay. I
Yeah,
like
it made sense because Steve Rogers can't go anywhere else. Like even if there's shit going on, like. That's where he is. That's where he lived for 2 years. That's where he's lived. That is home.
He's lived there.
I think he's been
on the traveling around.
No.
Because we said we go home, but we go to the Avengers thing.
Sure. But who cares where he's been
living?
living?
I get that.
I feel like they were in Scotland, or at least in Europe, in some capacity. Because when they get there, they said what happened to staying close and blah blah blah. And they got there pretty quick when it came time for Viz and Wanda.
Sorry.
I do feel it could have taken place anywhere. And I do feel it was wedged because of Black Panther being so popular. But you're right. Where would you want that to take place?
Yeah.
You have an open field. You can explain lots of fighters, all that stuff.
Where else are you going to set it up for?
Exactly. You
crystal
can.
out?
It can be easy. It's easy to set up and go from there.
Though I did feel it was a little bit forced when it was when they asked Banner if he could take the stone out, and his answer was not now, not here. And then they were like, well, you better find a time and place. And they were like, oh, I know a place. He's like, guys, you could have just played the music and gone to Wakanda. You didn't need such a ridiculous transition.
I think it was a waste when he said let's go home and he went to the fucking Avengers.
Yeah,
right. And they haven't been there for 2 years.
Yeah, he should have went to fucking Wakanda.
That's exactly when he said that. I thought they were going to Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
I'm mixing up my times. I swore he said that after they met Rhodey, but I'm...
No. He said go home, and they go there to get Rhodey, which is the only person there, so you didn't really have to get there. But
what did you think about where he says, get this man a shield?
I'm fine with that.
What did you think of his shields?
I think...
I thought they were going to do way more with the shield.
It would have been nice if they showed us the shields.
Yes.
We got 0 close-ups or 0 one-shots.
Exactly.
I felt it was just very lackluster.
Not even an
for
insert,
it being vibranium and all the technology they had. I was like, this shield kind of sucks.
There's some stuff. No, sorry. I think that's something they may have wound up on the cutting room floor.
Yes, April.
Yes.
I feel like they probably did have an insert. I'm sure they shot something for special with that shield. He had 2 of them for half the time, 1 of them for the other half. So.
I was just, his original shield did so much and was such an iconic piece that he had these shields that they just pretty much threw into the movie and did barely anything. And I'm like, this really sucks, because in the preview they're like, get this man a shield, so you're like, oh shit, this is going to do something amazing, and it was just a drop off, and that really did kind of piss me off.
I was holding on to this for like ever. This one concept. He let go of the shield in Civil War, dropped it, gave it to Tony, said it's not yours, whatever, fuck it. You're in Wakanda now. Either make him another,
Exactly.
or give him the fucking shields that the dudes with the capes.
Yeah, that would have been kind of dope. If they were like, if he was like
in the comic book, that's exactly what he has as Commander Rogers.
Really?
He gives Bucky the actual shield, and he goes around as Commander Rogers and uses a fucking a laser shield.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Why didn't you give him that?
That would have been dope. I think that would have been really cool. If he was like, get this man a shield, and you gave him even if it was like some kind of Captain America-esque pattern on his
Thank you. That's how I.
Also, he goes back to the Avengers headquarters, which is I'm assuming is where Tony would have taken the shield when he took it from him.
Right.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
so
Funny you say
grab it
that
while
is
he
I
was there?
thought some way he was going to end back up with it, and that would have been the perfect spot.
Rhodey could have been like, "Yo, I got something for you."
Yeah.
Yes, or
Play the
something.
Avengers music, bro,
and then
hand him a fucking shield. Yeah, and then in Wakanda.
But in the movie, I just kept waiting for the shields to get better, and it was just like, this is very, not worth, the build that they built in the preview.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see how everybody else felt about that, because that was very...
I'm on the same page.
Bird, you look like you have something on your mind.
Oh, no, I was only thinking in the trailer he talks about how they're not just defending Wakanda, they're defending the world, and that part wasn't in the movie. Unless I'm forgetting.
Lots of things go into trailers that don't make.
Yeah, there was a conversation.
But I like that whole part of like
hashtag
why we're
Rogue
all
One.
I just meant like why we're all willing to die, basically, like all your people, and be like, because we're saving the world. And it's like,
there was a lot of people dying.
This is a rebellion, isn't it? We rebel.
Yeah,
God, I didn't even think about that. But the fact that they're giving all their lives up for the rest of the world, where like literally an hour ago you didn't even want to be involved in the world.
Yeah, but again, they gave us exposition for that too when M'Baku he says, this will be the end of Wakanda, and then Michonne says then it will be the most it will be the most Denai says it will be the most epic or meaningful honorable end in history or whatever, which was a super cheesy line, but it sort of explained
Michonne.
I liked that part. I thought it was definitely a part that made you like, this is it. This is the last stand. And you knew it was going to be a big fight scene, but not the final one. But it felt like a final scene of like, this is it. And when they start getting into that fight, I was like, oh shit. And you see Black Panther just running ahead of everybody, and you see everybody's face.
Captain
like,
America was right there.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a close race.
beat him.
and they're just, but then you see him just sprinting as hard as he can to catch up. I was like, okay, this is it. I just thought that line was perfectly placed. And
That's funny that you mentioned that whole running scene, because in the trailer, in the running scene, we see the Hulk
that
being
totally
the Hulk.
isn't even there.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hulk is the Hulk in the trailer?
Yeah.
Where
He's
they're all
running,
running
he's not
into
there.
something like, oh.
It's pretty much that forest scene in Age of Ultron, like in the very beginning when they're running.
Yes, yeah.
It's pretty much like that in the trailer, but that's never happens in the movie. So yeah.
The female Wakandan characters blew it out of the water.
Like always.
Stole the show. I liked Scarlet Witch, Black Widow thrown in the middle of it. I've been waiting for them to get together because from, what was it, Civil War, where she's like, move.
It's a different person that says move.
Or I'll make you. I know, I understand that. But I didn't like that it took them so long to get Vision's stone out, and they just didn't do it. It was like, well, what was happening that whole time?
Wait, hold on. She said, she said it's going to take a while. And they're like, how long? As long as you can give me. And as long as they could give her was 20 minutes. Like, she said there's trillions of these things. I was like, are you going to need like a month? Or like, how long is long, you know? Yeah. So like, of course she didn't get it finished. Like, it took her forever.
How long does it take you to extract a Mind Stone from a robot's head, bro?
About 5 minutes less than it did her.
About 3 licks.
Are you just talking about 3, or are you talking about what's her face?
Upset with the...
Well, no, not that. No. I like that part. He got the time stone, and
I totally knew that was going to happen.
He reverted it. It's that kind of bummed me out. That why did Doctor Strange give it up so quickly?
Well, I think we're going to find out because he looked at 14,602,000.
That's kind of what I thought. But I was just
of going, and he sees one way which they win. Which I sort of felt like as soon as he said that, and he saw that they had one way to win, no matter what he did from then on, you knew he was taking them in the one direction he knew they had to go. For the one instance in which they won.
I love Harry Styles.
One Direction, I said it. Come on. So he says that, but I also feel like when that moment came for him to do that, and he gives it up, and he says to Tony, at some point when he's about to blow away, is like, Tony, it was the only way. And he had like 5 seconds of time to say something. It feels like he could have said something more like,
don't worry.
Hey, Tony, make sure you buy stock in Google or Yahoo. Or like the one important thing, because he's seen the fucking future, instead of just giving some asinine, obscure, it was the only way. Like, no, it just say like, when you're really thinking about it, go left. Like, just something that gives him some sort of direction,
I would have even been better if he had been like, trust me, it's the only way, or something, but it's the only way.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Come on, why'd you stop me from dying, my dude? Like, we was here. I thought we was tight.
No, the only part I was good when you were saying Black Widow, like, it was Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Okoye. It was the first time any of, like, the female characters have, like, interact. Like, in Avengers Age of Ultron, they're at a party, and like none of the women talk to each other.
Are you trying to say that this movie passed the Bechdel test?
Or at least it had something in the Bechdel test.
Wait, did it pass the Bechdel test?
I'm just saying, I've been to numerous parties and girls don't talk to each other.
What'd they say?
Wow. At the beginning, before they get like to Crossbones part, like it's like they're on the earpieces, and Scarlet Witch and Black Widow are working together. They do not talk to each other. This was the first time it was ever like she's not alone, and I was like, oh my god, they're all there together. It was the first time I've ever seen that. So that was the only.
I guess you're right that they do have a conversation, and I feel like they might have done it just to say they passed the Bechdel test.
I feel
because
like
they did. All they have to do is have one woman speak to another woman about anything other than. I
was gonna say,
and even just Scarlet looking over and saying that was really gross is about the woman who she just killed. So they passed the test. But also, I after seeing it the first time, my buddy who I saw it with said that he thought that was pretty forced. That the girl, that the girl fight was really forced and that kind of wedged in there.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel that way, and I still don't really feel that way.
I love it.
I can see how that's
like they're just total. They're warriors, and they're in the heat of the battle. And these 3 women wound up in the same place at the same time to fight. 4 women, I guess. But I thought that was fine. I don't feel like it was forced.
I liked it.
What did you guys feel about how they crept up on the Wakandan warriors when she was pulling out the stone out of Vision's head? I was a little kind of caught off guard that they had no idea that they were in the building.
Oh, you mean when Shuri? That's her name. Shuri?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, that one guy's in there.
And they were, and she had a couple of like bodyguards.
But
that was the point of that whole thing, though, which I didn't catch the first time I saw it.
He was on lookout.
It was the bad guy that got in there was the one who was quote unquote dead. When she says we don't want to kill you, but we will, and then she says you'll never get the chance. And then when they have the sort of meeting at the Blue Dome, and she says, "Oh, you seem to be one short. Like, where's your third guy?" And she says, "You will pay. You will pay for his life with your own."
Totally forgot about that.
So
you're
Scotland,
saying
I forgot about that.
because he couldn't get up, right?
No, that's actually, now that you say that, that all brings it back. Because I was upset about that part until you said that now, because I was like, what the fuck?
I didn't catch it. Honestly, I didn't catch it the first time either. But this time I realized, oh, that's actually the guy who she said was already dead, and we were led to believe he was dead, and all of a sudden, is he not only dead, he's going to be the one that winds up back at Vision again, and he was, and then he winds up getting stabbed by Vision, so, yeah. I was okay with the way they wound up sneaking up on him.
No, that was good.
Although I also thought maybe they should have given us a little bit more protection up there, but also if you remember, Scarlet Witch is their protection up there, and when Denai gives us that line, why was she up there the whole time when she's that powerful? Well, that's all you needed was her up there and not those other warriors. Had she been able to stay up there, she would have been able to defeat them.
Correct.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the kiln.
Oh my god, can we go to
talk about
the Dinkles?
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk about
115.
Gamora dying, the Soul Stone,
All right.
that whole scene.
I don't know how you guys felt about that, but when
We talked about Gamora, and I said that whole scene was, I felt like whole
I love
Gamora
that
thing
scene.
was shoved in.
I was shoved in, but I appreciated the emotions with Thanos and her. I
do think it was
appreciate
surprising
it.
his emotions.
Well,
Because I kept
okay.
being like, how do you not get that it's going to be you?
Well, the Russo brothers have said that this is Thanos' movie. Like, it's about him, and it's his story.
Well, they might have tried that, but...
I know, I get it. And, but, I don't know. I love,
he was the deepest villain we've ever seen. It was
Bullshit.
pretty deep. Who else?
Killmonger's way deeper than that.
Okay, all right.
And way more.
That's not even me being biased.
But that's tough.
it was very hard, like that scene, and to pull to another movie, when you do watch Black Panther and he's having that scene with his dad in the apartment, like it was just heart-wrenching to watch, and the emotion that goes into it, you're like,
I feel like Killmonger has a leg up because he is more relatable, because he's a human. True. And and he's coming from a place that we all know.
You're right. But also,
I'm sorry, I'm not xenophobic.
Loki's a little deeper, but I will say I do appreciate how deep they were able to get with Thanos, and they humanized him, humanized a character who was mostly VFX, was mostly CG, was mostly not the actor's face in most of the movie.
Definitely.
And they did a nice job with that. I did appreciate his performance. I liked what they did with him.
Like I mentioned, it's my bad. It's incredible how they were able to give you emotion through a CGI character.
Right, and
the whole time, like I said, his monologue. That I remember there was like a point where he was just sitting down talking to Gamora, and like I'm watching it, and I'm like imagining having that same conversation
with the little girl, Gamora.
No. When he was
at the throne.
When at the throne, he literally like the moment he sits down, and I'm watching his mannerisms, like how he sits, and his thoughts are so heavy that his body is heavy, because you see his body shift, and he's just like he's tired, he's exhausted from what his mission is. He fully believes in his mission, but he fully believes in it. And he's like he's in it. And he's tired of having to explain this to individuals. And so at that moment, you have a Killmonger moment where you're stuck thinking to yourself, "Damn, do I believe in what this dude is saying?"
And that's the point: is he believes in wholeheartedly what he is doing is the right thing to do.
We've never had which is like exactly what you're saying. We've never had a villain to portray that until we had a Killmonger. And now we have Thanos, who made you believe that, fuck, I have to destroy half the population.
You could talk me into it.
To do all this.
But see, where I had a hard time was in the beginning where he first meets Gamora. Like, it happened so fast.
You mean on the collectors?
The little girl thing?
No. When she's a little girl, you have fight in you. I'm like, what has she done? She hasn't fought.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
That was kind of shoved in.
I saw that after seeing it the second time. She doesn't have a lot of pluck to her. She's mouthy and she speaks to him. But if you think about like that situation in real life, it's a large, scary looking man and a tiny child. You ask them what their name is. Most of the time, they won't even speak to you. And this little girl's making eye contact, speaking directly to him. Is not afraid of him. So.
And that's, I mean, look, I don't want to bring it, but like that is what abusers do. If you don't think Thanos is an abuser to those girls, like he is. He's dominant. He's showing his power and making sure she's the only one, or he's the only one she sees, and like that is like stereotypical abuser behavior. What he does to that little girl,
totally.
Like it's hardcore.
And I gotta say, like that being like, I mean, you're touching on sort of real issues when it comes to these.
I know, yeah.
But that's, I think, important in these new movies where you have Killmonger, who is so much more relatable and acceptable as a villain to us because he's talking about race relations in America and in the world in general. He's talking about something that we're dealing with on a regular basis, on a daily basis. Some of us more than others. But that's something real and something you can look at and something you can relate to, and that's why that character is important and relatable. And when you do this with Thanos, it's similar, not with race relations, but you're talking more about like climate control and you're climate change. You're talking about something that like the Earth, this universe is finite and we're destroying its resources, and the only way to save ourselves is to stop breeding and to start dying in greater numbers, right? And so in that respect, it's sort of talking about a real issue, and it makes you think. It does. If you think about it as like a real thing, like. No, we are going to use it up.
Just poor people, but like in
well, that's what I was just gonna say. Like,
oh, okay,
that's
like,
what made.
I get why someone would think that.
That line made me right away. Right when he said it was rich, it was poor. I didn't care. Like that was like, oh, so he really believes this, and that's what he believes, and he's not. This isn't a lie. This is what he believes. This is his core belief.
I will say this.
Yes, sir.
While we're on the topic of Thanos dialogue.
Okay.
I was a tad bit irritated with the fact they drilled in our head that he will snap and kill half.
And then he literally snaps his finger.
And I didn't like that line.
That was for
fan service.
That was for the. You should have went for the head. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I knew it kept coming, but I didn't like that line of how he was like, should have went for the head.
And
like,
the snap was for comic book fans.
Sure, because I mean that is.
Like I said, as a comic book fan, why do you have to tell me?
No, I know.
I would have been surprised if like if all they did was if he said you should have went to the head for the head, and they zoom in on his hand, and he goes.
Yeah.
I would have been pumped for that.
I actually kind of almost missed the snap because I was looking at his face. And I'm like, "What do you mean going for the?" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, it happened on screen, but it is it's a moment that happens in the comics, but they do drill it into you. They said it at least like 2 times, and Gamora says it in a way. It's like
she even does it.
It's just it's that quintessential like kitsch way of exposition where it's like 2 characters meet in a room for the first time. They're like, "Oh, hello, older sister. How are you today? Have you had a nice time taking care of our sick mother?" And then they start. It's like, okay, you could have shown us that these people were related in a different way. And she does literally say, if he gets them all, he could wipe out half the population with just a snap of his fingers. And then she literally says, "Like this."
And
snaps. And it's like, okay, we know what a snap looks like. You didn't have to drill it in.
Then he says it at one point before he has all the stones. It says, "I can wipe out the universe with a snap of my finger."
Yeah,
that was a really good impression.
That's
also. Has anyone here tried to snap with gloves on?
Can't do it, especially metal gloves.
With metal gloves with gems in it and shit.
You would think it'd sound like a cling.
I tried to do it today with my Hulk hands. Didn't work. Just didn't work. It was like a.
We tried to get mannequin limbs, but the mall wouldn't let us have them. So.
Speaking of mannequin limbs, you did talk about before how somebody protected themselves with a mannequin.
Barely on Westworld.
On Westworld, they did it in this movie as well. I heard you talk about it last time, but at the end with the Hulkbuster, he grabs his own hand, protects himself with it.
That was super funny.
And also, it made me realize again another person's hand got lopped off in this movie, which happens in every movie. It happened twice in this movie. The monster and the Hulkbuster. Although that was his whole arm.
Did they even tell the people? Did they say their names?
The characters? No, right?
The bad guys? They do. They say Thanos says when he comes to see Stephen Strange on Titan, he says, "I take it the Maw is dead."
Right.
And Strange says,
I know Ebony Maw. I know. I think the girl is
Proxima.
It's Proxima.
Yeah, they never say her
Proxima
name.
Midnight or something.
The
like
other dude with the spear is Supergiant. And the other dude, because I from the comics, they all have weird ass names.
Yeah.
The bigger guy is something is Dwarf. I think Black Dwarf.
Yeah, Black Dwarf. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they only say Maw.
Okay.
Are we gonna talk about dwarves?
Do you want to talk about Tyrion Lannister?
Well, we can. Fucking Game of Thrones. Fucking Game of Thrones. Fucking Game of Thrones. Fucking Game of Thrones.
Real quick before y'all get excited, I do think Game of Thrones is trash. Also,
All right, calm the fuck down. Buddy has his paddle up.
I've had my paddle up for quite a long time. So I took a brief hiatus to go to the bathroom earlier, but I don't feel we've hit on this moment real fast. Red Skull.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about Red Skull.
Can we?
No,
just
let Aaron talk about it.
Can we just come around because?
Yeah, actually, let's let Aaron give us the breakdown.
Yeah, what happened with that, Aaron? If you could please just throw that out there.
I don't know. They went to a planet, and then there was a guy that may or may not have had a red-ish skull. Might have been light red, actually. Could have been light red.
He has lips, so technically he's not a skull.
I don't know if you noticed,
did this character have a nose?
Just cracked his neck like he's ready to kill somebody.
Right.
Did the character have a nose?
No.
Does Red Skull have a nose?
I don't believe
so. Okay, quick question. Did the character's voice sound anything like Hugo Weaving?
No, it didn't.
It didn't?
No, I know who it, I can tell you who it was. It was Ross Marquand's voice.
But it sounded...
Yeah, was it? Did it sound like a German guy with a red skull face?
Maybe a little bit.
Damn it! If I was a lawyer, I would say,
look,
all the evidence points to it being Red Skull.
Hold on. I know.
I object.
I understand.
Sustained.
I do not. I understand. It's really nice to catch me in what I'm doing. Something I said that's wrong. It happens every show. It's been happening every show all my life. Ask my wife.
We're not on every show.
Time.
We're on this show. And it was only in the last show where you said emphatically, Red Skull is not coming back.
With it. It wasn't only the last show.
No, but it was on the last show.
It's he said it multiple.
I've said it multiple. No, I have.
Since I looked him in the eye and said Red Skull is coming back. I said it on Facebook. He said Red Skull is not coming back.
Right.
I even told Buddy, Red Skull did not die. He got teleported.
This is true.
We had a 45-minute conversation about this on the phone, and I was dying. He said, and I quote, "If Red Skull comes in the theater, I don't give a shit who's in this theater. I'm yelling out, Aaron, I told you so."
Lucky theater, by the way.
Yeah.
Lucky theater. The second Red Skull pops up, I'm like, no. And before I can even get, like, in my mind that this might happen, Aaron, I told you so. Boom. And I'm just, I was rolling.
I saw the movie on Thursday, and as soon as I heard the voice, I knew it was Red Skull, and I thought, ooh, I'm going to give Aaron so much shit. I had 3 days to think of something to do and say, and I still didn't come up with hit him in the theater where it's going to hurt the most.
Yep. Oh, okay. Before we go in from Red Skull, I want to point out, I want to give a shout out to Clayton because he's super skinny because he's the only one. The internet did see it, but he found Tobias Funke in the collector's.
I was gonna bring this up,
but
a Hardly Heroes exclusive.
Right, Tobias. Yeah. So thanks for seeing that Easter egg.
He's a never nude, by the way.
Yeah, he was blue. He was Blue Man Group Tobias
in the collector's,
naked, but with his jean shorts on.
Yeah, he's a never nude.
I love me some Arrested Development. I love all of their all of the references. But I do want to make it known that I am the one person here who has not and will never body shame Clayton for being skinny. I think he's beautiful the way he is.
Hold on, I didn't body shame
I
Clayton.
think he heard that.
I know he didn't hear it, even with his small hands.
You're beautiful.
He said he would never body shame you for being skinny.
So what do you want to do? What do you want to do, man?
Wait, we should wrap up the movie real quick.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Got this far. So in the
only
end,
emotional part?
in the end, they try to destroy the stone instead of letting him have it. They wind up. They're successful in destroying in destroying the Mind Stone.
Yes.
This is the last stone he needs.
Did you say Smine Stone?
Mind Stone. They destroy the Mind Stone out of Vision's head. Wanda does it. She kills him. She does what she has to do. And instead of that working,
Surprise.
of course, Thanos uses the newly obtained Green Time Stone to reverse time, bring him back, shove
Spin it
Wanda off like it was
DJ
nothing.
run that
Yeah,
shit
you
back.
knew
Vision reassembles. The explosion goes inward instead of outward, and we get a brand new Vision who is promptly killed yet again when he rips out half his forehead
Imagine dying
to take that
twice,
stone.
yo.
Right? So he winds up back dead again, and he throws that stone in. He's got all the power in the world, and instead of being able to be defeated or killed, Thor shows up, throws a fucking axe in his chest, and instead of it killing him, it is just the catalyst for him to snap his fingers to destroy half the life in the universe, and then proceeds to wipe out half of the known characters in the MCU, including
Black Panther.
Black Panther's gone.
So upset.
Spider-Man.
All of the Guardians are gone,
Except
except
for Groot.
for Rocket.
And Nebula. Nebula's still there.
Oh yeah,
not
Nebula.
really a
Yeah,
Guardian.
Nebula's still around. Who else? Who else dies?
I have a whole list.
Spider-Man. Oh, go ahead, Aaron. Hit it.
Hold on,
not a long list.
real fast,
I'll
real
find it.
fast. So I know. Thank you for summing that up because none of us could have done that. By the way,
You don't know me.
did any of you, when Thanos hit Captain America in the face, I thought he was dead. Like I didn't think he
I
was
didn't think
going to
that.
come back.
That dude
Because-
backhanded so many regular strength motherfuckers that got back up. Like,
But
it
my
was-
thing is, going into this movie, I was already prepared that Cap was gonna die,
Same. I totally
and
thought that was
Iron
gonna
Man,
happen.
and they both gave us the chance, and they didn't. I was really hoping that like crushing blow, because of how strong he is, was going to kill him.
I will say, I think that because they both survived this movie, the way the next movie ends is that they
That's when it's
both
gonna
somehow have to
die.
or I could see Cap dying and Iron Man surviving, but giving up the moniker of Iron Man in the next movie. But I could see them both dying in the next movie if they have to.
They die bringing back everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I see happening. But Aaron, run us down. Who lives in this?
I mean, not these are just most of them, not the ones that died, but the ones that disappeared. Black Panther, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, the Guardians minus Rocket, Nick Fury, and Maria Hill, and that's it.
That's who we saw. Yeah.
Right, that's who we saw.
All right.
So, and we have to we don't get to see Clint or Scott, Ant-Man, or
they're on house arrest.
Yeah,
or
so
Scott
but
is.
we have to right now. I guess we can assume that Scott survives because Ant-Man is next. Though I imagine the very first scene of Ant-Man will probably say 6 months before Infinity War.
Okay, I was going to say, when do you think
It would be
Ant-Man's
really
gonna
hard.
take-
I think it's
Yeah.
hard to set that movie in a future where half the world is dead and Scott is not with the Avengers.
Yeah, why wouldn't he go back to them if
Yeah.
this had happened?
And Hawkeye is going to come back as Ronin.
Yes,
What?
we
That's
saw
my-
him in the
that's-
Ronin costume on the
You know what? I believe you.
leaked footage and stuff.
How would he be Ronin?
Not that Ronin.
Different
different Ronin.
Yeah.
47
okay.
Ronin, Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves.
That was the movie we were trying to remember a minute ago. Yeah.
Buddy has his paddle up again, guys.
So really fast, I want to go around the table to see people that just floated away or disappeared. Who was the biggest impact when they left? Like, who hurt the most? Going around to each person.
Yeah.
We'll start with you.
My thing that hurt the most was Star-Lord. When he disappeared, I think because I liked him. I thought he was super funny.
Even though he's
Everything that he's gone through
That whole
was
fight was amazing.
just hard. And I know everybody says, in Spider-Man, but when he disappeared, I did not expect that at all because he's such an iconic character.
You
and everybody
definitely
loves
are
him.
Star-Lord. I can see it now.
Oh, definitely,
We used
because
to call you Tony Stark, but you're definitely
Oh, no,
Star-Lord.
if anybody, I'm definitely Star-Lord.
Tony Stark is arrogant, but for the right reasons. Star-Lord is literally just delusional about who he is.
Exactly. And if you think about it, why I would say
How
it was
do you
him?
deal with this, Michelle?
Because
how do you deal with this?
if you really think about it, why, and not to make your own case for yourself, but he thinks everybody should love him, and that's exactly how I feel.
Weird.
Perfect.
It's so odd. You should have had the gun instead of the gauntlet.
I know.
Yeah.
It's weird. I have no objections to that.
So Bird is my counter villain. So
I think Spider-Man's the most emotional. But I was actually surprised he did anything with Black Panther. I was like, oh, he's fine.
I was really surprised.
He's making it out. And when he's like, oh, hey, we want to move out, you know, like, and I was like, really?
And that was a fucking whack way to do it. Other characters got moments. Star-Lord got to be like, oh, man. And Spider-Man was fucking wrenching, but it was, exactly. And when Black Panther blows away into dust, it's virtually off screen.
Yeah,
and nobody caught it at all. Nobody was heart wrenched or anything.
She's the only one that sees it, and the same with Sam.
No, she was already gone.
No, she's there. Denai is there.
Oh, he's like, let's go. But even like M'Baku gets the moment of looking at people disappear.
He got
and he's
nothing.
Not like there leading them to have that emotional.
I also want to say that shot of M'Baku makes me feel like that perhaps before we get a permanent Black Panther, that he may be the stand-in Black Panther in the next one, because they showed us very specifically he is still alive.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right.
Aaron? Oh, man. I want to say Spider-Man because it was super emotional, but I don't know.
Spider-Man
I'm going to say Spider-Man. It was the best scene.
I would say that of the people who float away, Spider-Man is the one, because he's a child.
Or Maria.
It's very heart-wrenching. But I will say,
or Maria,
the moment that got me the most was not somebody that died. It was when Tony got hit, because it kind of comes out of the blue during that fight. He gets stabbed, and both audiences that I've seen it with, like, it's gut wrenching. Everybody, you hear an audible, oh shit, here it comes,
and then that pacing.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
Robert Downey Jr.'s performance there, while stabbed and knowing he's gonna die, and in that moment, we all know this is what happens, because this is before everyone blows into nothingness. Yeah. So this is the big one. This is the one that dies. This is the one they're going to hit us with. And so we're losing Iron Man in this moment. And that was fucking rough. The first time I saw it and the second time I saw it, even though I knew he was going to live the second time, it's really, really powerful, that performance in that moment. Because the first time you see it, you think no one else is going to die, and this is the guy who's going to die.
Like, the comment even on that, like, I remember I had a moment where I thought to myself, like, I was mad at first that he ended up living, but I think you need that as an audience, or even a newcomer coming into like the movies, or someone that has watched it. We've read the articles online and heard like the hints and the spoilers and YouTube and this and that, and had our own speculations about Tony Stark, leaving and dying, Captain America dying, Thor dying. Like, me personally, I thought those three were going to be the ones that were going to be gone after this movie.
Definitely, same here.
And for me to see that scene where Thanos like stabs him, like, just gives him just that deuces, and he's out of it, and so we're all sitting there thinking he's gonna die. To have him not die, I remember being mad, but I was like, you know what? I needed that. We all needed that. We needed to have all our speculations for this movie to be shunned and thrown to the side. Because the last thing we need is to walk out and say, I knew that was going to happen. That was going to happen. I knew it. They did exactly that, except for the Red Skull. But everything else.
and I promise you, you're going to hear it about 1,000 times from idiots on the street.
But
I knew that. But no one knew that.
But see,
I posted that theory on Reddit like months ago.
But at that note, that's why I gave it a 9, is because I went into the movie thinking Cap was going to die, thinking Iron Man was going to die. And I know we all know that they're going to come back. But for that fact, the second Cap got stabbed, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. And then when, Cap gets hit, I'm like, all right, he's dead. I'm okay with that because I was mentally prepared. When Bucky first disappears, you're not like ready for that. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
You're supposed to get the new suit. You're supposed
to you are holding the candle up. And that's why I gave it such a high score, because I went in thinking one thing and was not.
It was really surprising, the trajectory of the movie.
So, Manny?
I'm going to stick to the same one. Spider-Man really got me because he was the only one crying out. Like, he instantly lost. They're all superheroes. They're all to the bitter end. They freaking hold up their macho-ness. But he reverted back to being a normal person, a child.
I don't want to go.
And you're like, oh shit! Like I can't imagine being in that space with somebody that I cared for and having to see them blow away like that. I was like, holy shit.
The first thing I thought was like,
second movie
oh
I'm
shit,
cry
Aunt May. Like that's the first thing I thought was like,
I will coddle
I will
Aunt
console
May.
her.
Yeah.
I will console her.
Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, like
I will console Aunt May.
Yeah,
I am definitely on that. That was where my mind went first. I was like,
let me get back to Queens
you
real
need,
quick.
you know, you need like a sympathy bone. I am in.
Wow.
Shoot, wrap that nanotech around her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do agree.
You better
I'll
double
bust
it
out
up.
the Dick
Double
Mark
it up.
XL.
I do agree that that it was good that they did not kill Tony Stark because this entire journey for us is his guilt, and his guilt is going to continue to go on.
Yep.
And now
Now
he
just
lost
doubled
Spider-Man
with,
under
Peter,
his you know
Yeah.
under his watch, and he's really fucked up now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be actually really interesting that
Yeah.
if in the next one you see him riddled with guilt.
Yeah.
Because that first of all, how's he gonna get back? But also,
Yeah, I didn't even think
maybe
about that.
Doctor Strange dropped his the ring thing. You know,
he did, didn't he? I swore he dropped the
I
spell.
don't
it
know.
also took
He
him like
doesn't
a
know how
year
to
to learn
use
how
it
to
anyway.
use it.
Yeah.
But
worry
yeah.
about it.
Did Goat give us his
Yeah,
most
your last
emotional
one.
death?
My most emotional death? I can't talk.
Or what
I'm
you were
sorry.
surprised
I had vodka for the
upset.
first time in like 7 months.
I'm surprised he actually disclosed that.
With his,
Black
was
Panther.
it the
Black
off-screen
Panther.
death of Black Panther?
Maria Hill.
He's going back to
Close.
Killmonger.
Nick Fury.
Is it Nick Fury?
Close. It was Nick Fury and or
This is
Black
great.
Panther. No,
That was in the post credits.
I would have to say honestly, because of it shifted the whole tone and made you like actually pay attention. Was Bucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It was.
mainly
Yeah.
That
because
was
it Steve,
wrenching.
and I was like, oh my
Like it's-
god, yeah.
Like I mentioned, like the whole me going into the movie, I had a list of who I thought was going to die in Infinity War. The one that hit the most because like it had the most impact to me while watching it was, like I said, Winter Soldier. I didn't expect it. I really didn't see it. I literally thought at some point Cap was gonna die in Bucky's arms, and someone would
Same
say,
here.
"It's on
Arm.
you now."
Singular arm.
Yeah, single.
Oh my God, can we talk about the
Like,
look
isn't
at
it
that
ripped
arm
off?
is my most favorite line.
Yeah,
of the
that's a
movie.
great line.
When he's
No,
like,
that
"Oh my
is
God,"
like-
and he's like, it's not for sale, and he's like, what about the arm? And he's like, I'm gonna get that.
I'm
arm.
gonna get that
I'm
arm.
gonna get
That
that arm.
part
Hands down,
was
that's
so
the best
small but so
fucking
good.
line in the
Yes.
movie. Because the way his inflection, the way he looks, he's like, I'm gonna get that fucking arm.
Yeah, exactly.
I love even the eye when he gives Thor that eye. I thought that was
the
funny.
most
Oh, when he's like, I
dumbest
thought you were
scene.
gonna wash it
I
off.
love
Yeah.
that.
Also, his
They
eye
didn't
was
need to
brown
do
and
that.
There was a
nobody's
lot of
talking. It's a
there was a
different
lot
color.
of Thor and Rocket that I probably didn't really need that much, but I
Yeah.
did love the moment with Bucky, and because it kind of subverted my expectation too, because I expected him to land and look up at Bucky and tell him, "Don't ever fucking pick me up like that again," like something smart alecky. But instead, it was
That was
like
smart, though.
more of a teammate type of moment, and
I
it was
think-
funny and clever, and I liked it.
I think because he misses Groot, because Groot, he would do that with Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
they
true.
should have had like
That's
they should have
true.
had a split second where he was like, oh,
That's how you do it, Groot.
Yeah,
Like-
like he said something like that because like I said, Groot hasn't been in action to the level where the Guardians are used to.
From the first one.
Yeah,
So,
since Guardians
Like I
1.
said, we're all happy that Groot made a handle for the hammer.
That
or that he
was-
ran into the battle.
That was a great scene.
But the fact that he was even in the fight, but Rocket has probably longed for that. He hasn't had his partner in so long.
Right.
So the moment that Winter Soldier picks him up and starts using him as a gun, yeah, it's comical to us. But the fact of the matter is, how many scenes in Guardians 1 was he on Groot's back, shooting over his shoulders like that? So for him, he's used to being like the gun, just being the gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like he's the brains when he needs to be, but just being the person that points and clicks. So Winter Soldier seeing that, this dude with the mouth is just running his mouth and shooting, let me go ahead and just let him do what he has to do.
That was
right
that was
direction.
an awesome scene.
I'd watch a Bucky Rocket spinoff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Would you call it Baki?
No.
No.
Thank you for shutting that down real fast. It's not even a hesitation. No. Next question.
All right. Well, I'm glad you can just hit him out
I
of the
also
park,
like
man.
the Captain America, like, I'm Steve Rogers. I was actually surprised.
Oh, yeah.
To that. Not
I am
look
Groot.
at him. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm.
This is my friend Tree.
That was
I am
really funny.
Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
What's one thing that happened that you wanted to happen in the movie that didn't, or you wish to happen?
That didn't
That
happen?
did not happen. That you did not see. Like I said, we all came in with expectations.
I'll go first if you don't mind. I'll just say what didn't happen that I wanted to happen was real stakes, and because of the way it ended with so many characters going away, and the idea that like there's no chance that they're not going to have Black Panther back for another movie.
Right.
There's no chance that they're not going to have Tom Holland as Spider-Man. There's no chance that the Guardians are all dead. There's no chance that that stuff sticks. So for me, what didn't happen was a real death that really kicked us in the head and in the heart and in the balls.
What's funny is I thought that too a little bit, but I felt it with Vision of all people. I felt that.
Okay.
And when you saw his gray ass body with that big ass hole,
Vision that I saw.
It was that like I felt that.
Yeah.
But
even Vision will have to come back.
Are you sure?
I mean, I guess if one of them is not coming back, it's Vision.
Captain Marvel.
But I imagine that it's all coming back through the Time Stone. I can't see it. I don't know. If one's not going to come back, it's probably Vision. But to me, if the movie had been just one real death and it was Vision, I wouldn't have been very happy with that.
Vision,
either.
Loki, Gamora, and
I needed a real character. Yeah. I needed
one of the four. One of the main four.
I needed a real Avenger to go down.
We didn't get a single
even
one
if it had been Spider-Man, I would have said you guys are fucking morons. But that would have been also as gut wrenching. Or if it was Star-Lord, also as gut wrenching. But because they killed everybody, I don't get any real stakes. I'm not invested in these deaths because I know that most, if not all, are not real. The one I think is 100% not coming back is Loki.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone else, I think you can rewind in some capacity all the way back to Gamora, and I think Gamora's coming back too because I think that without a legit love interest for Star-Lord, the Guardians, those movies don't work.
The Guardians do well together, as a team.
No, that's true.
No, I mean, I honestly think that Vision will not come back, and Gamora will come back. Mm-hmm. Who else?
Loki won't.
I think Loki will. Did they ever explain what happened to the rest of Asgardians?
Right. They didn't. They didn't. And are we to just believe that all of Asgard is dead?
Yeah,
because they were all on that ship.
It took him half
and
then,
but
if he took out your whole ship, he took out all the people.
Yeah. Mostly everybody is dead.
When the Guardians come to all the bodies in space.
On Bird's point there, I don't think that every battle he does is not about killing half the people in the battle. He'll kill anyone he needs to get to the stones, including the entire ship.
To my knowledge, he blew up that entire ship.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't see any. I mean, I missed like the first minute of the movie. But you guys let me know if I'm wrong. Were there any escape pods shooting off?
No.
In space? Okay, so to my knowledge,
Thor's the last
Thor's
one.
the only Asgardian.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But
or maybe Valkyrie's around too.
Oh, Valkyrie.
Yeah, I gotta imagine Valkyrie's around. Although, again, was she not on that ship at the end of Ragnarok?
I don't remember.
I guess not.
She is in the ship.
No, she is in the ship.
She is in the ship. So wait. So all of them are dead, including the cool Taika Waititi's character, and we have to assume that everyone, Korg, at the end of Ragnarok is dead.
Yeah, they're all in the ship at that.
Right?
Yeah, so to bring it back, the part that I wanted to see the most was when Cap was holding Thanos' hand. I wanted him to choke him out and kill him. Because I think, like Curtis was saying, it would have meant so much to me to actually see him die. And, seeing Bucky wither away, that was fine. But I wanted, like everybody was saying, a legit character to die. And when Loki got choked out, that part was amazing. But it should have happened to a key character that we were invested in. And it would have meant more to me in the movie than... Iron Man faking like he was going to die. Cap, you thinking the whole movie was going to die, but he didn't. It would have been that much better to see that happen.
Is Asgard's new slogan, instead of we're not a place, we're a people, is it just going to be we're a place, we're a person?
We're a person.
No, it's we were a place. We were a people.
We are a person. Yeah.
We're a hammer and a dude.
No, I didn't want Captain America to die, but I did want to see the trade over to Bucky. It's been set up for so long that Chris Evans' contract is going to be up, that Sebastian Stan has a 9 movie, So I just thought that was going to happen. I don't want to follow along with your same opinion, but that was where I thought it was going to go. I'm like, ooh, cool. And the second one is where he's now Captain America or transitioning, and that's clearly not going to happen because he's fucking gone.
At this point, I think they've been building it so long, it's such a foregone conclusion that they're going to figure out a way for it to not happen.
I could see that.
It's been so long.
I know. I just feel like...
That's why I'm like, oh, this is when it happens. And again, it's delayed like.
And just having been involved with some movies, the idea that everybody knows one thing gets into the brain trust of films, and I feel like if it would not shock me if in the original script Bucky is not the first one to blow away, but because all the talk has been about him becoming Cap, that somebody at some point was like, you know what? It's possible to not do it until later on. We're going to bring him back anyway. Let's fuck everybody's expectations up immediately and make him blow away. And it subverts expectation, and it's something that you want to do as a filmmaker. So it wouldn't shock me if they figured out a way to make Bucky some other character. Hawkeye.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I'll just go real quick. Mine's is wishful thinking. Honestly, wishful thinking. It was a perfect time for them to introduce the FF, in my eyes. Even though they don't have the acquisition, have a second end credit scene where they come out of some dimension, come out of space.
You see John Krasinski.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But how excited would you have been if you would have saw like 4 characters just pop up?
You couldn't have seen. You wouldn't have. You could have seen an elongated arm and a brick hand or something, because they wouldn't have shown you a cast. We don't know a cast.
Yeah.
But how perfect would that be if it's so under wraps that we don't even get that you just see that for the first time?
Like they had some sort of perfect.
Marvel
casting
isn't
done
J.J. Abrams and can hide a Cloverfield movie in plain sight.
That's wishful thinking.
It would have been cool. It would have been cool to see.
I'm just looking for something brand new that we don't see. They have a universe like we spoke before, that they're probably going to build a Star Wars-esque universe and have all this stuff.
Right.
Let's give people like something they can be super shocked. Yeah, individuals that were even at the show didn't know what the Captain Marvel logo was, so they were confused about who he was calling.
Well, a lot of those individuals didn't even know. They were so young they didn't know what a pager was.
That's definitely
so.
That's why he still has one.
Or why, when you know every single superhero on the entire planet, when something terrible happens, the first person you think to text on a pager is Captain Marvel?
Well, she's pretty strong.
I've heard that she's the most powerful. She's going to be the most powerful character in the MCU.
What we're supposed to be believing here is that she's the most powerful character in the MCU, has just now been introduced to us. Where has she been throughout 10 years?
I think we'll get that. Exactly. We'll get some sort of explanation in the movie, right? In the Captain Marvel movie that's set in the 90s.
I don't know what we will, because it's set in the 80s, so
90s.
or in the 90s, so we may not know.
That's why there's a pager.
It'll literally end like Captain America did, like where the last 5 minutes will just be her in the modern age. So
I hope not.
Or maybe her, in space or frozen or whatever. A reason.
in a spaceship frozen.
Yeah, she's in carbonite. She's in carbonite for a reason. Next
to Han Solo.
She's
we're
working
not allowed
at
to
a
say
space frozen yogurt place.
Sorry, I went back into work mode for a minute.
All right. I don't have anything. I don't have any wishes.
I don't really think. I do think my opinion about this movie, again, reverting all the way back to the beginning, it does depend on the next movie.
I think my number will change depending on what they pull off in the next movie.
I have a very similar feeling to this movie after seeing it that I did after seeing episode 7.
Oh, okay.
Because I felt like that it was a very similar movie to episode 1, but that the subsequent 2...
4?
4.
Yeah, sorry, 4, yeah. The subsequent films would be the payoff to this setup that was largely the same. Now, if my feeling coming out of that of episode 7 was a 7, it's like a 5 after seeing the next one. So hopefully they can do something better with this.
Yeah.
Wrap up.
One thing, and this is total... I thought we were going to eventually have all the characters together at one point. But I know that's kind of difficult. I think that's...
it was weird to me, too. Like, I felt like, for being such a large ensemble, having all these characters, I still felt like there was something missing. We didn't get that moment where they were all together, or I still felt like
that one Avengers moment, they're all back to back, or
the swoop scene in Wakanda.
The swoop scene where they come in and they're all back to back.
I mean, granted, I had that feeling, and I told you this before we right when I walked to the theater. I had that same feeling from Avengers 1 with the swoop scene.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have it in Avengers 2, but I had it in Avengers 3. And I think it's because they're introducing something brand new, and so you're getting to see it for the very first time. I can't pinpoint exactly when it happened, because there was multiple ones where I was just like, oh, just excited. Like, I mean, like I said, the feeling I had from watching Avengers 2 is wholly different from when I watched Avengers 3 and Part 1. So, I'm not saying Avengers 2 is bad, but it just felt like it was mushed together and kind of forced. I do think they needed 2 more characters in Wakanda, and they definitely needed that moment where they're all together. And granted, they tried their best when Thanos' pilot is like tearing through the Avengers.
Yeah.
That. I think that was their swoop shot, but it should have been where they all come together. Like he said, come form on my location. It should have showed everybody back to back with the swoop scene, circle around, and then have Thanos just come through and just that's when he starts wrecking house through everybody.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it should have
wouldn't
been.
it be that run scene? Like that's
the one that we did only got in the trailer. Yeah, that kind of would have been
something.
it.
We didn't get any of that.
Similar like it. Yeah, like we just didn't get that moment where everybody is,
we're like, this is it.
Yeah, like this is the moment where this is all or nothing, So hopefully, Part 4, we get it. Avengers 4, Heroes Reborn.
When are we getting that? 20?
2019, 2020?
2020, I would imagine, but who knows? It could be
so far away.
It could be Christmas next year. It wouldn't shock me if it was Christmas next year.
Because they're filming now.
They've already done a bunch of filming.
They shot back to back.
My friends that were on this one are taking. Well, they have 1 month off. They've been off for 2 weeks, so they're back in like about 3 weeks. They go back to.
Okay, that's 5 months off.
Stuff. Weeks.
That's 5 weeks off.
5 weeks off.
But you said
about a month.
Are we done? Yeah, we're good?
I think we're good.
All right.
I think we all have to pee.
Yeah.
We probably have more.
I don't have to pee. I show
okay.
prepped.
Thank you guys so much for doing this. Coming out. Curtis came all the way out from LA.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
It was the most fun. This is the longest show we've ever done. And it was the best show we've ever done. So, sidekicks, remember one thing. Disclaimer, they don't know shit. You guys have a good night. See ya.
Bye.
Adios, amigos.